Well, we are just 12 days out from Election Day, so what is the vice president's strategy over the coming days? Mitch Landrieu joins me now to talk about just that. He is the co-chair of the Harris-Walz campaign, also formerly served as the mayor of New Orleans and the lieutenant governor of Louisiana. Lieutenant Governor, it is great to see you. We are going to talk about how the stars are out tonight for Vice President Harris, but let me just say you are the MVP. Thank you for sticking around. We had some breaking news on the Menendez brothers.
No problem.
But we so appreciate you making more time for us tonight.
No problem. Happy to do it. Thanks for having me.
All right, so in addition to the boss, Springsteen, Spike Lee, Tyler Perry, Samuel L. Jackson, we now know that Beyonce is joining the vice president in Texas. Now, it's no surprise that those celebrities are supporting the Democratic ticket, but I want to talk about why now? Why are you guys rolling them all out tonight, 12 days out? What do you think they can do for you?
Well, I can't confirm nor deny that Beyonce is going to be in Texas tomorrow, but if she is, I'm gonna find a way to see Queen Bee because I'm a huge fan. Listen, this is at this point in time, it's all about getting out the vote. It's all about making sure that everybody gets to the polls and everybody understands how critical this election will be. As I have said many times, as you know, Kamala Harris was a prosecutor. There's only one jury that counts now, and that's the American people. And they have a choice to make about which direction they want the country to go in. And so she's making her final argument to the people of America. And next Tuesday, she will be on the ellipse, the very same exact spot where Donald Trump stood to deny the peaceful transition of power, to talk about the stark choice that the people of America have to make, one that's going to either give us a new tomorrow or going to take us back to the past, one that is going to have a guy who is an autocrat, who does not believe in democracy, or one that is going to take people's opportunity away, or one that's going to provide it for us. And that's the case that she's making. And so everybody's got to go to the polls. It's going to be a very close election. And as she has said many times, when we vote, we win.
I'm so glad that you brought that speech up for next week because, as you mentioned, it is going to be on the National Mall. That is exactly where Trump made those January 6th remarks right before the riots on the Capitol. But she's going to literally be standing in his shadow as a result of that. And, you know, I think more and more the campaign has been focused on Trump. And I wonder if you think that's the winning strategy here, because it almost seems like the case is more against Trump rather than for Vice President Harris.
Well, it's actually both and you have to do both because this election is a choice between two competing visions for America. One of them is a dark choice, and that is Donald Trump, and one of them is a choice to bring us to turn the page for a new day, and that's Kamala Harris. So you have to make both cases at the same time. She's actually going to stand in the spot. She will never stand, by the way, in Donald Trump's shadow. She's going there to prove that you run to the fire, just like she's gone to Texas to highlight the facts that when Donald Trump appointed 3 Supreme Court justices and they took women's rights away in this country, that Texas took up Donald Trump's mantle and passed the most restrictive laws in the country for women's reproductive health and put women's lives at risk. That's why she's going to Texas tomorrow, to demonstrate that she will fight for you. And Trump that day was showing who he was going to fight for, which was the people who were trying to stop the peaceful transition of power. He wants to tell you that that was a picnic day, that nothing bad really happened that day when the American citizens saw that our democracy was under attack. 146 law enforcement officers were hurt, some were killed, and she wants to remind people what Donald Trump's vision for America is. At the same time, she is talking about hope. She's talking about opportunity. She's talking about creating a new pathway forward. She's talking about lowering people's costs, and she's talking about turning the page on the travesty that we've had since Donald Trump came down that golden elevator, and that's what she's going to talk about on Tuesday.
Last night, she also talked about the border. She talked about a lot of issues at that town hall in Delaware County, Pennsylvania. I want to play a little bit of her exchange with Anderson Cooper about the border wall.
To fix the problem, you're doing this compromise bill. It does call for $650 million that was earmarked under Trump to actually still go to build the wall.
I am not afraid of good ideas where they occur,
So you don't think it's stupid anymore?
I think what he did and how he did it did not make much sense because he actually didn't do much of anything. I just talked about that wall, right? We just talked about it. He didn't actually do much of anything.
But you do want to build some wall.
I want to strengthen our border.
Lieutenant Governor, today she repeated that she does support that bipartisan border bill that includes funding for the wall. So is this a concession to Republicans, or does she think it is a tool to curb migration?
Well, first of all, it's important that we secure the border, and there are lots of different ways to secure the border. Some of that is physical, some of it is with technology. What she said last night that's so critically important is that she is not the kind of president that says it's my way or the highway. Compromise requires you to take pieces of bills that you don't like, other people take that, but you get to an answer. What she said last night that was so critically important is that she is going to find a way to fix the to-do list that has been on people's desks for a very, very long time, and that does require compromise. And that's what presidents do. The other thing she said last night that was critically important, and a massive distinction between her and Donald Trump, is that she will be a president for all of America. Donald Trump, on the other hand, is only going to be president for some America. And for people that don't agree with him, he has said time and time again, and I hope the American people hear that, if you're against him, he will punish you. If you're against him, he will withhold funds from your city and from your state. If he doesn't agree with the policy, for example, in California, he's going to withhold firefighters' funds so firefighters can't save people and their houses when they're burning. That is a distinct difference in the way that this country is going to be run, because at the end of the day, she believes in democracy, you see, and that's a major distinction between her and Donald Trump.
Mitch Landrieu, thank you so much for your time today. Really appreciate it.
Great to be with you. Thanks so much for having me.